Come on, Dylan. I'll tell my keys. How about lifesavers? You like lifesavers? How about money? $1. Ah, yeah, $1. You are a smart man. That is yours. All right.
We've all been there, haven't we? Keeping kids on their best behavior, it is a constant battle. Sometimes we simply have to bribe them to behave, like this clip from the movie Daddy Daycare perfectly portrays. But there is an easier way to combat the conflict. Studio 5 contributor and therapist Ryan Jensen says it's more about rewarding kids than actually punishing them. It's easy to say that. But then when you're the parent and some kid doesn't do what they're supposed to do and you've told them 20 times to clean their room or to practice the piano or get their homework done, you just always default to the punishment, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. And you know, the more attention we pay to those punishers, the more likely the child is going to continue to misbehave. The whole key we want to focus on is really looking, what does the child do right? We want to pinpoint what their strengths are, how are they contributing to this family, and really focus on that. You know, all the research tells us that it takes 8 praises to counteract the effect of 1 correction. Now think as a parent, Darren, we are always correcting our kids all the time.
I think that is our job too.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, that's part of what we do is to help mold them and get them what they're supposed to do. And so we do that. I hate to say that, we do that sort of through constructive criticism and through, corrections.
That is our role, but our ultimate role is to make these kids successful, and praise is the best way to do that.
Thanks for making me feel bad about that.
Yeah, you're a great dad.
But there's so often as we are parents, we sort of default into that sort of just reinforcing. You're saying that whatever we spend most time on, whether it's the reinforcing the constructive criticism, they're going to remember whatever it is that we spend the most time doing, right?
Exactly. We want to look at ways to just praise them. And when I talk about that 8-to-1 ratio, that is so difficult to maintain, even if you're the most positive parent. And so we want to look at what are some visual ways, some tangible ways that we can reinforce and praise the child that provides a prompt or reminder to us to praise them, as well as to the child to continue the appropriate behavior.
You mentioned the word visual. How does a visual response or a reward help construct a child?
Well, when we're trying to implement a visual program and we see something there on our calendar, it reminds us, oh, I want to give them a praise. I want to give them a reinforcer. They're doing a great job here, and it just kind of gives us that little reminder. Okay,
so we want to focus on what we're reinforcing, which is, of course, the positive enforcement here. You have some ideas that you've brought in that are really going to help us, because all of us are going to be struggling at some point today, whether the kids aren't doing what they're supposed to do and you want to change their behavior. Here are some great ideas you're going to walk us through that are visual reminders of all that, right?
Oh, exactly. And one of the first ones is just setting up a visual chart. And this is a great thing with a small child. We can write something down, put a visual picture so they have a way to remind them. And it, again, just provides a prompt to the child so that we're not always having to nag them. We're not having to say, did you brush your teeth? Did you do this? Did you get your bed made? We can say, did you do your chart? You did? Great. We're ready to go play. Another idea might be tickets. Now, I have to tell you, when I pulled these tickets out last night to prepare, my kids were all over it. So when I go home, we're starting tickets back. But tickets are another great way. Just every time the child exhibits that behavior you want to see, you give them a ticket. They can either put the tickets in a jar with their name, you might do a drawing at the end of the week, or you can just give them the tickets that they accumulate to get a bigger reinforcer of something they really want. When I talk about reinforcers, too, we don't always focus on the tangible, like you get a prize or you do this, which kids love that, too. But we also focus on maybe the tangible reinforcer is going getting a shake with their dad. Maybe the tangible reinforcer is spending time with mom, go getting your nails painted. So sometimes it's activities, but they can get those tickets and earn another prize.
Yeah, that prize might be out there, but the visual reinforcement is what sort of keeps them going.
And it keeps us as parents focusing on praising.
Okay, the next thing you have a strange puzzle you brought along here. I'm not really sure what you do with that.
Kids love puzzles and they love games. And so one idea, this one was for a child who was earning a trip to the zoo. And so it's a penguin. And so each time they did the behavior they were praised for, they earned a piece of the puzzle. When the puzzle was filled, guess what they planned? Their trip to the zoo coming up. Exactly. And you don't even have to make your own puzzle. You can go buy a puzzle at the store. Just whatever is easiest. We want to focus on simple things that we can do.
The next one, you have some jars here with some stuff in?
We do. And the pom-pom jar, when I talked about something sitting on your counter that reminds you of pom-pom jar, is a great example of that. Just every time the kid does the appropriate behavior, you just put a pom-pom in. When I taught, I used to do a thing where I had chocolate chips in a jar, and when the kids, if they were all on time and Every kid that was on time, we put a chocolate chip in. When it reached the line, then I made them chocolate chip cookies. So that was a fun thing that they worked towards, and again, find a way to praise.
Or just have a hall full and take the chocolate chips out as they're doing the things. That would reinforce me right there immediately.
Well, that's a negative reinforcement. We don't want to do that. We want to reinforce the positive. Again, praise, praise, praise towards the things they do well.
Okay, you have a box. What's in the box?
Well, I love a mystery motivator box, and that's a really highly effective tool with kids. So you just take a box that looks fun, you put a bunch of things they might like. You see Cheetos are in there because I don't allow Cheetos unless it's a special prize. But just fun little dollar store things the kids can earn, and they might trade 10 tickets in for picking something from the mystery motivator box. And you keep the box in place so it's motivating to them.
So this sort of couples with some of the other things you've done, whether it's the chart or the tickets. This is sort of the payoff that they might be getting at the end.
And kind of an interim reward that the kid can work towards.
Okay. You have another little notes down there?
Yeah, and you know, Darren, teens are the hardest because small children, they really buy into all these other programs. They like to earn things. They like to see the visual. And teens are a little bit more difficult, but one idea you can do is just write a note to your teenager, stick it on their bed, maybe put an iTunes gift card in, a little McDonald's gift card, something that would be reinforcing to them, and then be specific about what they did that you appreciated, what behavior they had that you want to praise.
Now, you've done both sides. You've done the visual reinforcements. I'm sure you've at times have, I don't want to say gotten lazy, but probably haven't been as diligent with this. What differences have you noticed when you do the visual reinforcements?
Well, the nice thing about the visual reinforcement, again, it's a prompt for you and it's a prompt for the child to exhibit that behavior, and it just makes it more fun. And you always have to mix it up. You might try a program and it works great for a few months, and then you need to try something different. But kids really buy into it. And then our goal as parents is to make our kids successful. What a better way to do that than to reinforce the things that they do well and focus on what they do right.
And don't you find the kids want to please? They want to do what's right?
They do. I'll let you know when I start my tickets right when I go home, because we're back on the tickets. Yeah.
Ryan's got a great article, and she's put some more information on our website, so you can find all that information on the Studio 5 website. But remember, it's the positive reinforcement, 8 positives for every 1 negative.
For every correction, exactly.
And that's keeping it even. If you want to get on the good side, you got to even more than 8.
Higher, exactly.
Yeah, thanks for the great ideas.
Thank you, Darren.
Of course, there are a lot of resources for parents, and we'll get all that information on the Studio 5 website for you. Thanks, Ryan, for stopping in.